you know, we start sort of talking to the kids over the summer. Yeah. Every year, obviously, we have incoming freshmen who, you know, the whole environment's new to them, Jamie. So, you know, we attend orientations. I probably went to 8 Thursdays at BU every Thursday throughout the summer, speaking to 5,000 or 4,000 new freshmen.
So eight Thursdays over the summer?
Over the summer. I mean, as quick as graduation.
5,000 kids, incoming students?
Right. From Boston University. Yeah. You know, we went to Northeastern on opening day, first week of September, spoke to all their incoming freshmen. And we've been doing this for probably 8 years. So our continual message towards them is, when you're in the neighborhood, you got to respect the neighborhood. You know, we more than welcome them here. They're a great commodity, you know, to the city. They add a lot of life to the city. But
great interns at BNN.
Right. But
in the house.
Right. But there's a small minority who give all of them a bad name. And we see it the worst come these celebrations.
What kills me, though, is I was there in '86. And I was hanging out with a large group of friends. And I remember my friend who thought, hey, let's start breaking car windows. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Smarten up. And it's like when kids get into these huge, you know, mobs and large crowds, why don't more kids see that? Why do some kids say, okay, wow, I guess it's okay to flip the car? Why don't more kids smart enough to be like, no, don't do that?
Yeah, I think they get caught up in the whole event, you know, and that's what we try to do at orientations. We talk specifically about sports victories and the problems we've been having, and sort of ask them again to behave. You know, we work with the college universities, the administrators. We have them all coming in this Thursday in the media room to address the deans, to get them on board, so they put out the message.
That's this Thursday?
This Friday. This Friday. That they put out the message, whether it be through emails, through the dorm monitors, that, you know what, let this be a fun time, but let's not give the university or the college a bad name. So we bring in the deans, we bring in the heads of security, and together we try to do a significant amount of outreach so we don't have issues. You know, but at the same time, Jamie, we put right on them that if their kids act up, not only are we going to take action, but we expect them to respond with some swift punishment.
Now, are they doing enough?
You know,
because when you say swift punishment, if I'm a college kid and you're trying to strike the fear of God in me, and somebody says, dude, not only if you get arrested, if the university funds you've been arrested, you're done. You're going home. They're kicking you out. That would scare me into thinking twice about doing something stupid. But are they willing to take those measures? Some?
Yeah, they're getting better at it. You know, obviously for the last 9 years before I came down to District 4, you know, I've been at District 4. I was out in Austin Brighton, and we worked hard with the universities.
You've been in whether 4 or 14, you're still in that mix.
Right, working with the universities, and they have gotten better. You know, we have administrators riding along with us at night, so they get right away the kids that are causing problems, and we follow up and they follow up.
Are you guys still doing that in 4?
Well, in 4, we deal with Northeastern. We have a great dialogue. We don't actually have a Northeastern University administrator riding with us, but I know BC, BU,
Billy Mills over
Billy
BC.
Mills, Joe Walsh at BU. They do a great job.
Wentworth, do they have something with you guys too? Or?
Well, Wentworth's more on the B2 area.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so Paul Russell, also Captain Russell from B2, but you know, we do quite a lot of outreach to these kids, so none of them should be surprised by the fact that we back it up with arrests. You know, we both live in the city. You know, we see what it does to the quality of life. You know, out in Austin Brighton, if you come out on some of the streets out there, whether it be Kirkwood, Radnor, on a Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and just see red cups and broken bottles and broken windshields, you know, nobody should have to live like that. And you know, year after year, we try to do our best and be proactive and tell the kids, please don't do it. But you know, nothing seems to work.
Well, I'm sure the role of alcohol.
Right.
You know, kids experimenting with it, having one too many, and of course, when you know, some people can handle their booze, some can't. Some, unfortunately, some people have too many, and again, they think it's okay. All right, let's break windows, let's do whatever.
But you know, we do a lot of outreach, not only to the students, Jamie, we reach out to the, the bars.
Yep.
We reach out to the liquor stores. I think tomorrow at 5:30 in the media room, I'm having all the liquor stores from area D4.
Oh, you
There's
are?
29 of them
Okay.
into the media room where I'm going to talk about not only them serving college kids, to be obviously, more proactive in identifying, kids underage. We're also going to deal with them also serving homeless.
Okay.
Homeless who are intoxicated.
Yep.
That's become a big issue on our district.
Okay.
Tonight on Sherman Ave, we have a liquor store that one of my sergeants wrote up for serving an intoxicated individual walking in. So, they serve homeless, they serve underage, and also with the upcoming, World Series. We don't want them serving excess alcohol to certain kids. There's a limit on how much alcohol kids can buy, and that's the type of stuff. We're doing outreach to the liquor stores, to the bars, and the universities to try to crack down on the crazy behavior.
And when you, just so people at home understand it, when you write up a liquor store, you write them up, and then of course they have to go before
Chairman Pokaski and the alcohol liquor board, which is in City Hall.
And if they obviously get one too many of these violations, there's the threat of pulling the liquor license.
Yeah, I recently went to the liquor board on a particular liquor store, which was serving a lot of intoxicated individuals, and were also, creating some problems because they were adjacent to a playground in a public park.
Okay, and, that's not good.
I went in, tried to close the liquor store if I could. I wasn't successful, but I was able to stop them from selling single beers, the nips, and the alcohol, that actually people can go in and buy singles. And the licensing board came down and said, no beer under 40 ounces, no nips, no nothing. And that's been very positive to that area. So
that's great. So, I mean, it's being socially responsible, being part of the solution as opposed to the problem. But it's nice to see that the impact, law enforcement can have on them. And
when we address the liquor stores tomorrow, I'm going to send out the message that we're going to watch you, and if you're not responsive, then we're going to move to put the same restrictions. Obviously that place is hurting because that was a lot of their business.
But I love the education component first. You're basically saying, hey, listen, we're not going to drop the hammer on you, but obviously there's a problem. And when there's a problem, we were asked to be part of the solution. You guys are creating it. Let's find out what we can do to solve it. Now, when you have this conversation, what's some of the feedback? By and large, do these stores realize, okay, wow, you're right, we can do better, or what kind of feedback do you get?
I mean, this particular liquor store, I had him in my office about 2 years ago and asked for his cooperation, and I identified what the problem was. That he was serving intoxicated, patrons coming in, and they were just going into the park and drinking and urinating and hanging out around children. I always remember being down, this particular park, and the residents tell me they would never bring their children over there because of what was going on. So we've made a concerted effort to clean up that park, but one of the key ways we did it was sort of reining in this liquor store, which was making money, but at the cost of the quality of life of the people around there.
Oh, that's great. That's a good story.
Right. So you got to work with the liquor stores. You got to work with the bars. And we're also working with the college kids here.